Definitely not a good day to get one of those, as this wind is crazy. We're going to keep talking about it all day as Cope deals, and that's a ground ball over to Sydney Gray, and she gets it on over to Bella Bacon for the first out.
Yeah, quick hopper over to Gray, one of the most solid third basemen to ever play here at Nebraska field. It's all about advancing the runners. It is a simple style of play.
Cope, wind-up delivery, ground ball right up the middle, and that's a base hit for Linduff, retrieved by Brooke Andrews and thrown in. A big hit for Linduff. She went base on the year. She kind of bluffed stealing a little bit earlier. Now that's a ground ball dive by Sydney Gray. Over to second, gets that out, but not in time for first as Sydney Gray makes an incredible play there for the second out. 2 for Cope, trying to get out of this one. Deals, and that's launched into left field. Samantha Bland in on it on the warning track and makes the out. And so in a day where we talked a lot about balls being knocked down, that one almost got out, but Samantha Bland, the freshman. Billy Andrews back-to-back to start a game, and which is why Rhonda Ravel has elected to do that over the past 18 appearances as Andrews hits that hard over to the shortstop, Haley Kripe, who throws it over for the first out. To work quickly. Wind up, pitch, swung on and hit into center field. That gets down, and so Brooke Andrews is the first base runner for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Such a solid swing, and the big thing is there was a lot of patience, right? She actually didn't jump on the ball too soon. Otherwise, it would have gone to left field. So she got the look she wanted, barreled it through, and got it right up through the hole of the middle.
Hamilton settles down, pitches. That's a high fly ball. Moving under it is Bagshaw, and she's actually able to grab it right from under the catcher, Lyric Hope. So 2-1 the count. Brooke Andrews on first. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Hamilton, wind up, the pitch, swung on and hit by Bland, curling into right field. That one's going to hit off the wall. Andrews to third. Andrews will come home, play at the plate, bad throw, and now Bland will head over to third. That ball is bobbled, and so Samantha Bland gets to third base on what will probably be recorded as a double as Brooke Andrews coming to score, and the Huskers jump on Casey Hamilton here in the first.
Well, if that goes down as a double, it's her 10th of the year. Excellent place. It actually almost got out, and that would be the one area where it could. And then it's just defensive errors left and right for the Jayhawks. And on a day where your defense can really control the pace, all perfectly placed.
Count even, 2-2. Bland on third. 2 outs. That's hit high. It's curling right. It might curl foul. Multiple Jayhawks in there, and it's caught on for the third out of the inning. Believe they're on the play. I think that was
a chance by putting it in the air.
Yeah. Cope. That's hit over. Picked up. Kaneda has trouble with it. Throws it over, and it is out. And they say Bagwell held on. It was a delayed call there by first base.
Upset when you can't get the ball that first time.
And so it's a complicated out for Bagshaw. Now Bruno hits this right over to the right fielder, Tokheim. And so it's a quick 2 outs here for Emerson Cope.
Keep the pitch count down low, but whoa, heads up in right field. I mean, that's Talia Tokheim out.
Of last year, her sophomore season due to injury. That ball was hit right at her, and now just a first pitch hit, and that's bobbled by Billy Andrews, and safe will be Ashlyn Anderson. Cope, wind up, deliver, swung on, Kaneda with the play, over, and she gets the out over to Bella Bacon, and so the Huskers have to work around an error, but set the Kansas Jayhawks down with no runs scored. And
to build your future.
Count full, no outs, bottom of the second. Huskers lead by 1, and that is ball 4. And so Tokheim is the leadoff walk for strikeouts on the year. None so far, as this one's launched high into the air in left field. It's being held up greatly, and under it is Haley Kripe to get the first out of the inning.
Yeah, that one obviously not only way too under it, but it honestly didn't get up high enough for the wind to really
one of the top teams in the country. This pitch on, hit high in the air. Coming in on it is Rozak, and she drops it. Miscommunication and thrown on over, and it's out. And so that wind kind of messed things up there for Rozak, and it dropped right in the infield. But
walks this year.
Kaneda trying to kind of shorten up that strike zone, showing the bat, pulls it back, pitch on, and that's hit sharply down the right field line and foul. as the wind kind of pushed that one. If a no-win day, that might have landed right on the line, but on a day like today, it's about 10 feet outside of foul territory. Got to start it almost right at the right fielder just for it to drop in. As Kaneda will have another go at it. The pitch outside for ball 4, and so Kaneda keeps the train moving here for the Huskers with 2 on and 2 out, and the incredibly dangerous Billy Andrews up to.
He has not struck out anybody.
Swung on, hit very, very high. Price moving in on it. It'll be Rozak actually who tries to make the play, and she catches it. A bounce back play from Rozak, who dropped that ball earlier, which extended the inning.
To try and maybe end up throwing some meat over the plate, but now you're working around. You're seeing different types of pitches too.
That ball is hit sharply over to Kaneda, underhand and in there for out number 1. Little bouncing ball.
Also don't want to go opposite side because Gray has a good glove and a quick arm.
Kaneda makes a play on it, running toward the middle, not in time, over the head of Bella Bacon. It bounces off the dugout of the Jayhawks, and so just like that, Presley Limbaugh gets on base. It's a tough play for Kaneda, who was shaded on the right field side of the infield. Linduff, not too many RBIs on the season. She tries to put down a bunt. She's successful. It's Emerson Cope who shovels it over to Bacon. They cannot get the runner at second, so it's Limbaugh on second. In Lyric Moore, that's a bouncing ball in front of Bacon, and so Limbaugh steals third. That'll go probably as a wild pitch. Thrown over, and the Huskers get out of it. Emerson Cope works around. Pitch. Hit on sharply to center field. Coming in on it is Angela Price, unable to get it. Brooke Andrews makes a hard turnaround first, but stays at first for her second hit of the game. Same approach. If it's a good pitch, you should swing at it. That was a bad question to ask me. I'm passionate about that. As Ava Breadwell doesn't take my advice. Well, does take my advice. Ball 4 there lays off a bad pitch, and so is still howling the way that it is. Hamilton on the even count, swung on, hard hit ball in the left field. Here comes Brooke Andrews. They'll throw it home. Andrews in, going to third and safe. And an incredible job there, and goes to second is Samantha Bland. And so Brooke Andrews comes on board here with 2 on and no outs in the 3rd inning, and they lead 2-0.
Everybody's safe, and we've seen this with Kansas several times today, that the throwing errors, there's not much an error there, but it's just everything is just a tad late, but it's more of Rhonda Ravel controlling at that third base. When
you think that Jennifer McFalls will, as that ball is hit high into left field, it's going to be held up, Limbaugh moving under it, and Breadwell will stay put on third base. Limbaugh rather, started tracking that ball almost.
Category.
Huskers would love a home run here. Swung on, strikeout for Hamilton. And Lyra Cope does a great job keeping that ball in front of her too, and so Hamilton gets second. Breadwell on third. Hamilton winds, delivers, swung on and missed. And Casey Hamilton gets out of the jam, but the Huskers add 1 run to their score. Unaware if that has to do with injury or just substitution.
Diving catch made by Sydney Gray. Lunges to her left, and that one easily would have been a single.
Off with a big win over a good team in Kansas.
Cope for the 3rd time in full count. Grounded over to Andrews. With ease, throws that in time over to first for the 2nd out.
Breadwell for the 2nd out of the inning.
Designated player Olivia Bruno flies that one out to center. Brooke Andrews tracking in the sun, takes a few steps back, and that's a quick 1-2-3 inning for Emerson Cope and the Huskers.
Nebraska, and she's been a great first baseman for him.
And Bacon lines that one into left field, takes a little hop off the turf, and is on safely. A liner through the hole between third and short gets her on. So the Huskers
first base as opposed to a double play. So I wouldn't be surprised if she lays down a bunt here.
Any runners on for Billy Andrews. That's what you want. Swing and a miss there on the off-speed pitch. Almost high to the outside, so Kaneda hits the
4 batters.
As that one is grounded softly over to short. Kripe handles it over to first in time to Bagshaw. So down goes Billy Andrews, and Brooke steps in with 2 outs. But Bacon advances to second. So
times runners could have been able to advance because she didn't execute that.
Payoff down the middle. That one gets through the hole. 1 runner will score. Bacon rounding third. There it goes. Safe! And an RBI double for Brooke Andrews as she gets attempted to be thrown out at second, but slides back in safely. And the Huskers pick up their third run on the afternoon.
It was a nice piece of hitting by Andrews once again up the middle, kind of a slower type ground ball as it took that first bounce.
Lefty to righty. Big pitch here. High and outside, so runners on first and second for the Huskers. Breadwell.
You got to think there's a meeting coming up here. Yep. Once she hits the inside part of the corner, she's got her respect now.
That one inside. Bland is walked, and Gray steps into the batter's box with the bags loaded. Huge opportunity here with 2 outs for the Huskers. Righty to righty, Gray flies that one up. That should stay in play. Over is Linduff. Linduff nearly in foul territory. Had to gravitate to her left by about 10 feet. Snags that ball, and the Jayhawks get out of a bases-loaded jam, and the Huskers, well, that's the story today, is leaving hard-hit ball, and you're obviously doing something right if you're making Billy Andrews have a hard time with that one. That one lined out to right field, into the gap. Caitlin Neal, the right fielder, chasing it. The throw in to Billy Andrews, and it is a safe double for Anderson. Did that one with ease and just made great contact. To really have a staple here as that one is grounded through the hole. 1 run has a chance to score for Kansas. The throw in time. Got them all. Beautiful throw from Brooke Andrews to throw out Ashlyn Anderson at home.
What a frozen rope from Brooke Andrews. My goodness. Just on a complete line. I mean, couldn't draw it up more beautiful than that. Picks it up, 2 strides. Nice throw. Bang. Right there. And good heads-up base running from Sophia Buzzard. Full count.
So here we go. That one chopped to the left side, coming in to make the catch.
Great catch by Bland. I mean, that was incredible. Just read that off the bat immediately, came diving in. 2s everywhere. 2-2, 2 outs. Runner on second.
There we go. 2s across the board. Chop swing over to Gray. Over to first in time to Bacon for a 3rd out. So Kinney comes in and has his first inning of successful relief pitching.
20 pitches.
Neal slides that one into left field, and it gets by Limbaugh. Rounding first into second is Neal. She in there in time. She's out of there.
Greedy what the weather looks like.
The Husker fans show up. Swing and a miss there. Big strikeout for Katie Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks does a phenomenal job there. I mean, she's got a rocket. You know, kind of the main job of the catcher. You're supposed to be the backbone of this defense, which she is.
That one high and outside, and Bacon sees that one. So she's headed to first. In the bottom of the order,
throw some nasty stuff.
Here we go. Swing and a miss by Kaneda, and the 5th inning is over. So Katie Brooks gets through that one unscathed, but the Huskers still lead 3-0.
For the Jayhawks, Kinney delivers, pitches over to Sydney Gray. Gray over to Bacon for the 1st out. We've been saying that a lot today, as that's another put out for the always reliable 3rd baseman, Sydney Gray.
Something you brought up earlier is when I said routine.
Considering the win, but who am I to question the 1,100 game winner in Rhonda Revelle as Kaylin Kinney pitches, and that is ball number 4. So Kinney handles the first bat.
A good chance to get extra bases.
Kinney pitches, swung on hard to left field, diving is Bland. It'll hit right in front of her. She thought about diving for it. She didn't. She did the smart move and held up, and so now Moore stands on second. Above 300 on the season. Pitch, swung on, over to Sydney Gray, steps on 3, over to 1, stretching is Bacon and gets the double play, and the Huskers are out of the inning. Sydney Gray flashing the leather again. 23, blowing directly into the infield. The pitch, swing on, over the head of, and out of here! Billy Andrews, that thing kept carrying. My goodness. And so the Huskers add an insurance run, and it's 4-0 here at Bowlin Stadium.
And Andrews just took a hack out of the deepest part of the ballpark. I mean, just the quick swing like we talked about earlier, muscles that through the wind. That lands just short of the trees.
I thought that was going to get knocked down. That thing kept going and going and going over the head of Angela Price. And all of a sudden that was over the fence, as that was a missile over the L of the softball sign, as that's hit on over to Anderson and thrown for the first out in the 6th inning. This could do some damage. They just haven't been able to do that with runners in scoring position yet. They still lead 4-0. Bounced on. There's Kripe. She gets a handle of it and throws it over for the 2nd out. Had a tough time with the transfer from glove to arm, but did a good job of getting it. So 2 outs.
Job of getting that pivotal 2nd out.
Brooks, wind up pitch, swung on and blasted through to left field. And Samantha Bland, have yourself a day. Incredibly different situations for hitters. Brooks spikes that ball in front of Moore. Stealing was the base runner Bland, and so now she stands on 2nd. Count. Brooks winds up, pitch, swung on, and grabbed by the 2nd baseman at Sarah Rozak. And so Jayhawks gave up 1 run on an absolute bomb from Billy Andrews, but definitely not a mind game there. Just couldn't stand up properly as Kinney throws a nice slow pitch for strike 3. Oh, Caitlin Kinney freezes Bruno at the plate. So Ashlyn Anderson steps into the box. That's a high fly ball. Caitlin Neal working under it in the foul territory. She secures it for the 2nd out. And so now the Huskers will throw it around, and they're just 1 out away.
You know what the pressure's like.
That's something. Kinney gets it in for strike 3. And so the Huskers come to Bowlin Stadium, 5-game win streak. They extend it to 6th and shut out the Kansas Jayhawks. Here's Kinney. Oh my goodness, pull the string again, strike 3. And so the Huskers move to 22-13 on the year. Winners of their last 6 and 10 of their last 11. A